The machine of justice beneath the postcard image of Southern California, the palm trees, the beaches, the endless sun. There's another world, hidden in plain sight. A world of concrete, control, and confinement. This is Orange County Jail, one of the largest detention facilities in America. A city within a city, a population of more than 3,000 men and women, each accused of a crime, each waiting for judgment. For many, this is their first taste of incarceration. For others, it's another stop in a life spent revolving through the system's doors. Cut 2. Exterior gates closing with a heavy metallic groan. This is where freedom ends and the system begins. Booking and release center night. Fluorescent lights buzz overhead. Police officers move briskly through glass partitions. The air is cold, the echo constant. Every night. The booking and release center processes dozens of new arrivals. Each one is here for a different reason. Drunk driving, assault, theft, drug possession, or sometimes simply for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. But once inside, everyone is treated the same. Officer commanding, hands on the counter. Empty your pockets. Phones, keys, wallets, shoelaces, all surrendered, bagged, and tagged. Personal items become property of the state. A new identity is assigned. A number replaces a name. Close-up, fingers pressed to a digital scanner. A camera flash, booking officer. Look straight ahead. Don't smile. The mugshot, a ritual of humiliation. The moment the system records not who you are, but what you've become. Holding room, early morning. A row of men in street clothes sits on a cold bench. Some stare blankly. Others sleep against the wall. From here, the wait begins. Hours can stretch into days. The smell of sweat and disinfectant hangs in the air. A television plays in the corner, its sound drowned out by the clang of metal doors. Inmate interview, they tell you to sit and wait. You don't know what's next or when it's coming. It's like time stops. In these rooms, the system strips away not just belongings, but control. Here, time belongs to someone else. Search area later. Officer, face the wall. Hands behind your head. The search is as invasive as it is routine. Every inch of the human body inspected for drugs, weapons, or contraband. Officer, lift your tongue, turn around, squat and cough. Humiliation, standardized. It's not designed to punish, it's designed to remind. From this moment, you belong to the system. Classification unit. After processing comes classification, a crucial step that decides an inmate's fate inside. Each person is interviewed, scored, and categorized based on criminal history, gang ties, and behavior. Classification officer, you affiliated with anyone? Any enemies we should know about? Inmate, I just keep to myself. Man, here, a single answer can determine safety or danger. Admit the wrong affiliation, and you could be sent into a block controlled by your enemies. Deny it, and the system might not believe you. For officers, this process is part science, part instinct. For inmates, it's a roll of the dice. Property room, a staff member seals a plastic bag, labels it with an inmate ID, and slides it onto a shelf. Every item, from a wedding ring to a wallet photo, is locked away. Sometimes for months. Sometimes forever. Officer quietly, shoes, belt, wallet, all accounted for. For many. These are the last reminders of life outside corridor. Late night, 2 deputies escort a man in handcuffs down a long corridor. The camera tracks from behind. Once classified, the inmate is moved deeper inside, through a maze of locked doors, security checkpoints, and cameras. Each gate opens with a buzz, and closes with a sound that seems to echo forever. Inmate interview. The first time that door slammed behind me, I felt it in my chest. Like it wasn't just the door closing, it was my life. For the men and women who work here, that sound is routine. For those who live here, it becomes the soundtrack of existence. Dormitory. First night, a large open pod, filled with rows of metal bunks. Inmates talk quietly. Guards walk the upper tier. This is the moment the system absorbs another soul. A stranger steps into a world already divided by race, by gang, by fear. Inmate, first night, you don't talk. You just watch. You see who's who runs what. You don't want to make the wrong move. Inside, reputation means survival. Weakness, even a hint of it, can be fatal. For the system, though, it's just another number added to the count. Another piece in the vast machinery of American incarceration. Montage, fingerprints scanned, keys turning, fluorescent lights flickering on as doors slam shut. Every day, the cycle continues. Dozens in, dozens out. Each person entering this building is caught in the same ritual, processed, stripped, stored, and forgotten. Outside, the world moves on. Inside, the system hums quietly, a machine that never sleeps and never stops feeding. Fade out, the sound of metal gates echoing. Welcome to the machine of justice. Welcome to Orange County Jail. Act to life inside narrator view SG. 5 antes do meio-dia, the day begins, not with sunlight, but with sound, the metallic symphony of locks, boots, and voices echoing off concrete walls. Inside Orange County Jail, time is measured in head counts and meal trays. For most inmates, the days blur together, identical, monotonous, and heavy. Loudspeaker OS, count time. All inmates stand by your bunks. Narrator VO, every movement here is controlled. Every moment, observed. Even the act of waking up becomes an order. INT cell block, morning. A camera pans slowly through a long tier of cells. Inmates stretch, wash their faces, fold thin blankets. Narrator VO. Each cell is roughly the size of a walk-in closet. 2 bunks. 1 stainless steel toilet, a thin mattress, and a single slit of a window. Inmate interview. You learn to live inside your own head. You can't escape the noise, so you stop trying. You just go quiet. Narrator VO. Silence here isn't peace, it's survival. Breakfast line. Inmates shuffle forward, trays in hand. Guards watch from behind glass. Narrator VO. Breakfast is served before dawn, a tray of oatmeal, bread, and instant coffee. Meals are quick, tasteless, but sacred. It's one of the few times inmates gather without tension. Inmates softly, smiling. Food's terrible, but at least it's warm. Narrator VO. In here, warmth is rare, so even bad coffee feels human. Day room. Midday wide shot. Inmates sit at bolted down tables, some playing cards, others watching a flickering TV. Narrator VO. After count, the day room becomes the social center, a concrete commons where alliances form and hierarchies reveal themselves. Narrator VO. The room is divided by invisible lines, racial, geographic, and gang-related. Every inmate knows them, cross them, even accidentally, and violence can erupt in seconds. Inmate interview. You don't sit at that table unless they say you can. You don't touch their phone. You don't even look too long. Narrator VO. This unspoken code keeps the fragile peace. It's not enforced by the guards, it's enforced by the inmates themselves. Cut to a quiet handshake between 2 men. Nearby, another inmate watches intently. Narrator VO. Every gesture matters. Every friendship is a calculation. INT guard station. A correctional officer monitors live camera feeds. Officer interview. You've got to stay alert. 1 minute it's calm, next minute someone's bleeding. These guys, they have nothing but time, and that's dangerous. Narrator VO. The officers are outnumbered, sometimes 30 inmates for every 1 guard. Control here depends not on force, but on routine. The rhythm of surveillance is what holds the walls together. Inmate work detail. A row of inmates scrub floors, mop corridors, stack trays. Narrator VO. Work is both a privilege and a distraction. For some, it's a small taste of structure. For others, it's a reminder of everything they've lost. Inmate interview. When I'm working, I don't think about court, or my kids, or the streets. I just work. It's the only time I feel useful. Narrator VO. In a place built on punishment, usefulness becomes redemption. INT. Visitation area. Split-screen glass booths. Families speak through telephones. Children press hands against the glass. Narrator VO. Once a week, the outside world comes in briefly. For some, a mother's face through glass. For others, no one at all. Woman tearfully. I tell him, just hang on, we'll get through this. But I see it in his eyes, he's fading. Narrator VO. 4 families. The jail sentence is shared. They serve it too, in absence, in worry, in shame. Inmate interview. You see your little girl crying on the other side of that glass. That's when it hits you. This ain't a game. You're really in here. INT. Cell block. Afternoon lockdown. A siren wails. Guards shout. Inmates rush back to their cells. Officers shouting. Lockdown. Everybody down. Narrator VO. Lockdowns are routine. Sometimes for a fight, sometimes for nothing at all. The cells close, like jaws, sealing off every sound. Inside a cell, an inmate paces slowly. Inmate interview. You start talking to yourself. You start counting the cracks in the wall. You can feel your mind slipping. Narrator VO. Isolation breeds madness. In a place built to control the body, it's the mind that suffers most. Chapel. Program room. Evening. A small group of inmates sit in folding chairs. A volunteer speaks softly. Narrator VO. Some find refuge in the few spaces not ruled by the code. Church, education, or recovery meetings. Volunteer. Everyone deserves a second chance. No matter what you've done, you are not your mistake. Narrator VO. In these rare hours, humanity flickers, fragile, but alive. Inmate interview. When you pray, for a minute, you forget the fences. You remember you're still human. Tonight, lights out, the lights dim. A guard's flashlight sweeps across sleeping faces. Narrator VO. As night falls, the jail exhales. Some drift into restless sleep. Others lie awake, replaying the same thoughts, regrets, anger, fear. Narrator VO. In this silence, every sound feels amplified. The hum of the lights, the shuffle of chains, the breath of the man in the next bunk. Inmate softly. Out there, I never noticed how loud the world was. In here, it's too quiet. It's the kind of quiet that talks back. Narrator VO. Tomorrow will be the same as today, and the day after that. Inside these walls, time doesn't move forward. It circles endlessly, a life on repeat. Fade out. Sound of distant doors slamming. The screen goes black. Narrator VO. This is what it means to live inside. Control, punishment, and release. Narrator VO. In a system built on order. The greatest weapon isn't violence. It's control. Every sound, every light, every minute of the day is dictated not by choice, but by design. Inside Orange County Jail, obedience is currency. Defiance is debt. And that debt is paid in solitary confinement. INT, segregation unit. The whole camera passes through layers of gates, each door slamming shut behind. Narrator VO. They call it administrative segregation. The inmates call it the hole. 23 hours a day inside a cell barely larger than a coffin. 1 hour of recreation alone, in a cage the size of a parking space. Officer interview. Seg's not meant to torture anyone. It's about safety for them, for staff, for everyone else. Narrator VO. But inside these walls, time stops meaning anything. Days bleed into each other. Light, dark, it's all the same. Inmate voice, low. You start talking to the drain, to the ants, to the walls. They don't talk back, but at least they listen. Narrator VO. In isolation, the human mind begins to fray. Voices echo, paranoia grows. And when the door finally opens, some part of you stays locked inside. INT control room, rows of monitors display every angle of the facility cells, corridors, recreation yards. Narrator VO. This is the nerve center of the jail. A wall of screens, hundreds of cameras. Every movement watched, every conversation recorded. Officer interview. We can see everything. Sometimes I think we see too much. Narrator VO. Surveillance has replaced trust. Even the officers live inside their own kind of confinement, trapped between duty and fear. INT medical wing. A nurse checks an inmate's vitals. Another waits in handcuffs, eyes distant. Narrator VO. For those who break under the pressure. The medical wing is the last refuge. An endless stream of anxiety, depression, addiction. Nurse interview. Half my patients aren't sick in the body. They're sick from being here, from being forgotten. Narrator VO. The line between punishment and cruelty is thin, and it's often crossed in silence. Into yard afternoon. The camera pans across the exercise yard, tall fences, razor wire, the endless California sun. Narrator VO. For 1 hour a day, the yard offers the illusion of freedom. Concrete ground, steel sky. Inmate interview. This is the only time I see the sun. I close my eyes and pretend I'm home. Narrator VO. Even here, the fences are too high to forget where you are. But for a few minutes, the warmth feels almost human. Cell block. Evening guards perform a head count. Inmates stand silently. Narrator VO. Head count, dinner, lockdown. The rhythm of control continues. But somewhere beyond these routines, there's a countdown no one can see. The moment when the gates will finally open. For some, that moment never comes. For others, it comes too soon. Next release gate. Dawn. A steel gate slides open. A man in county-issued clothes steps out, holding a plastic bag of belongings. Narrator VO. Release. After months, sometimes years, inside, freedom comes quietly. No music, no applause. Just a gate, and a road leading nowhere in particular. Officer interview. Most of them walk out with $40, a bus ticket, and a promise they won't come back. Narrator VO. But promises are fragile. The same streets, the same temptations, the same system waiting just a few miles away. Inmate interview. I thought I'd feel free, but when that gate shut behind me, I just stood there, didn't know where to go, didn't know who I was anymore. Narrator VO. The truth is, release isn't freedom. It's just another test, one most will fail. Montage life after release. Shots of men walking along the street, sitting at bus stops, calling family, looking for work. Narrator VO. In America, more than 2/3 of inmates released from jail will return within 3 years. Some for new crimes, some simply for being poor, homeless, or addicted. The system doesn't end at the gate. It follows you in records, in stigma, in memory. Empty cell. Night camera moves slowly through an empty cell. The bed is made, the walls scarred with graffiti, names, dates, prayers. Narrator VO. When a cell empties, it doesn't stay that way for long. Someone new will take its place. Another number, another story. The machine never stops. It only replaces parts. Closing sequence montage. The jail at night. Lights flicker off one by one. The hum of the ventilation fades. Narrator VO. Inside these walls, justice is a process, not a promise. A system that defines, confines, and consumes. Every gate that opens, another closes. Every inmate released, another booked. Narrator VO. This is not just a story about crime and punishment. It's a story about people, about what happens when a system built to correct ends up consuming the very lives it was meant to reform. Camera drifts upward, over the walls, over the fences, into the pale dawn sky. Narrator, VO, Orange County Jail. A machine of control, running endlessly beneath the surface of American life. Pause, silence. Narrator, VO. Some leave it behind. Most never really do. Fade, OUT, soft ambient music. The distant clang of a closing cell door. Text on screen. More than 10 million people pass through America's jails every year. Most are never convicted of a crime. End of documentary.